Great, Deborah. And nothing wrong if you haven't practiced. It's hard keeping up. Rosalie, I'm glad that you were able to have a practice, whether it was 5 minutes or a longer session. Much needed, much needed. Anyone else have an experience or anything that they tried that was different that they'd like to share in chat? I was going for a drive yesterday, and typically I like to put on a podcast or radio, and I chose to turn everything off and just show up, to feel the steering wheel, to roll down the window a little and get some of that air, and just try to be on my drive. Even just for a few minutes before I get distracted by something else. We'll give one more moment before we kick off today. And the recording will be made available for anyone else that would like to revisit in the future. So before we get started, let's come back to our anchor place. So if you've been with us the last 2 classes or even one of them, using our hand on the upper chest area, if possible, if you're able to do this, or on the abdomen, and just feeling the weight of the hand. The anchor is like a signal for us to check in with our breath, check in with our feelings, our thoughts. A reminder to just pause and be with breath. Let's do that together. Just feeling the different sensations of air moving in the body. And releasing that and just letting that go for this moment. So, I'm a big fan of recapping, just reminding ourselves over and over what mindfulness is. And knowing that you may create your own definition for this, but revisiting one that stands out. Being awake, it means knowing what you're doing. Whatever you're doing, eating, speaking, listening, taking a walk and feeling the earth beneath your feet, watching the clouds or the birds, just being there, not complaining or wondering or judging, but just being there and watching. And it takes constant practice. We may want to do it every day, but things get in the way. We talked about stress the last 2 sessions, and stress is something that, again, can be very much external, and we can see it and we can touch it, and stress can be something that can grow over time and stack and create a variety of triggers over and over that kind of send us into either a hyper stage or a low stage of energy. I really like to think about it high energy or low energy with stress. And we revisited in our talk what happens to the body when it is overwhelmed with stress. That we have an automatic nervous system that runs throughout our body that is just really built to balance us, because we need both. We need to be able to be activated and fight or flight, or to run or to move or to get things done quick. Something drops, you pick it up. That's that sympathetic nervous system, everything firing at one time, perfectly timed. And then there's the other part where we just need to chill out, to relax, to be in kind of that homeostasis, that calm place. And we learned how we can do that for ourselves. And today's talk is going to continue on this conversation and really thinking about how this stress and maybe this autonomic nervous system can impact our energy in our body, our ability to focus. I like to think of this conversation about the battery on our phone. A lot of us are feeling very tired at the end of our days, feeling exhaustion, right? From just a lack of focus, a lack of energy throughout our day for many reasons, whether we're taking care of others, taking care of work, or ourselves. And sometimes we don't even have to be using our physical energy or exertion to be exhausted. We can even wonder why we might be feeling that way. And that's a tough place to be, when your battery is drained. So when you think about your cell phone or a cell phone, if you're lucky enough not to have one, but what happens when you have 10 apps open on your phone? You've got an email and a camera and this, and you're shopping or doing other things. Or what if you're juggling 10 different things during your day? Your battery on your phone drains very quickly. It can't really hold the charge because it's just kind of being zapped into one continuous pool of energy. How often are you doing one thing at a time in your day? How often are we doing one thing where we're not thinking about anything else, just solely focused on that task? There may be hobbies in our life that we notice this. I am a crocheter and I'm learning to knit. When I am knitting and crocheting, I only am in my knitting. I'm literally only with every loop. Or when I am doing woodworking, which I also do on the other end of the spectrum, I'm really just with the wood. I'm with that grain. I am with the sanding. I'm with the painting. I'm there. So it really is that one thing. If I'm doing 10 of those things, it's just my energy is distracted and pulled in so many different ways. I'm not focused. And there is a reason, there is external demand. We are overexposed to so many channels of information coming into us, over demanded for our attention. We're constantly pulled, and that leaves us constantly worrying. Are we doing enough? Are we getting things done? Could we be doing more? And we're bombarded by news. It's a lot to manage. Our brain is a computer, just like your phone. And when you've got all these things lit up in it, it is exhausted. There is a physical explanation. We talked about the release of stress hormones and what happens in the body when you're stressed. I'm sure you've heard doctors talk about it or read articles or have explored it, but stress is not a very good friend to us. It is motivation's heaviest ball and chain. It will drag us down. So when we're stressed, cortisol releases throughout the body. And what happens is the increase in our heart rate, the blood pressure, it actually causes us to have a more shallow breath. And so you might ask, what does that have to do with my energy level? Well, it is directly tied to a physiological response. Our cells require that we create energy, and they require energy. Both things. They require it and they need to create it. They are an engine, they're a powerhouse. So if you're ever to go to the gym and move and lift weights, like you need energy, you need that power. And there's actually a process that happens in the body. There's this thing called the energy currency of life. It's this exchange. So again, how is stress causing this to be a problem? Well, our cells take energy from oxygen and nutrients in our food and convert it into this lovely substance, ATP. through a process called cellular respiration, which is stalled during stress. So we're directly impacting our heart, our blood pressure, our breathing, and then we're causing challenges with our digestion to get the nutrients and the oxygen to give us the energy that we need. So it's a cycle, and we have to be proactive, just like you are here, showing up, taking the time to learn what we can do to change this. One of the greatest ways we can improve our oxygen levels, reduce cortisol in the body, reduce stress, is breath work and meditation. So we did a few practices last week where we just took that deep breath in. We held at the top because that was like pushing the calm button in the body. It pressed against the body, the certain little button in there, pause, and then turned on the parasympathetic nervous system after we were able to regulate our breath. This happens in yoga. This can just happen anywhere. You don't have to be in a sitting meditation. But anything that begins to steady and allow us to fully take in full breaths to increase our oxygen. Most likely why spending time in nature is a good way to take in more oxygen to calm ourselves. So breath work, actual practice of working with the breath, either through breathing exercises, which we'll do in just a moment, through yoga, through actual meditation where you follow the breath. But it can begin to balance the body right away and support your alertness, which is tied to ability to focus, our clarity, our energy, ability to be in the moment, and the cascade of our immune system function, being able to keep us healthy and balanced and handle stress. So as much as our worries, as much as our stress is caused by our thoughts and other things we can't control, we have tools. We have the ability to use something so simple that is with us all the time. What happens is our breathing goes on unnoticed throughout our day. And what we do in mindfulness practices with breath is we bring our full awareness to the breath. We simply place our attention on it. And there's multiple ways that we can exercise our breath. And we're going to try several together today. I've shown you 3 different types of breaths here. And I will actually take a copy of this and send this in the chat. So if anybody wants to have this for their future, you'll also have the recording available to you. But wherever you are, I just want you to find a comfortable spot. A place where you can just relax the abdomen, where you can allow the shoulders to maybe roll down and away and just be with the breath for a few moments as we practice together. The first breath that we're going to do is an energization breath. So it's about bringing energy into the body, about awakening us and livening us and bringing that oxygen level up. So what this looks like, it's a double breath through the nose. Yes, other recordings will be available, Alicia. We'll make sure that you have access to everything. We're going to do an energization breath where a double breath in through the nose. It's going to sound like this. So we're sucking that up in more and more, and then we through the mouth. So we're taking in a lot of fresh air through the nose. Okay. Doesn't have to be as forceful, whatever is comfortable. You're going to start to feel an upliftment of energy. So you're welcome to keep the eyes open or gently close them. Take one deep breath together and release that. And let's begin a round of 5. And just letting go and kind of noticing what's happening. You might have had a little tingling or a little bit of lightness in the body. That's kind of that influx of energy moving in and the push of the oxygen out of the body. Let's try one more round of that. Set of 5. Take a deep breath in together and out. Double breath in. Double breath out through the mouth. And release. There begins to feel that sensation of something happening in the body. The next breath is just a simple in breath and a forceful out breath. Imagine you're getting nice fresh oxygen in, and then you're just releasing all the negative stuff, all that stale energy that you might be holding on to for the day. So we'll begin with a regular breath in and out together. And it looks like this. Pushing the belly. Breathing in through the nose. Few more. And release. It's all about lifting the energy, clearing out. And during those exercises, it's really hard to focus on anything but the breath. Our last practice of breath work will begin to prepare us for just sitting meditation together. It will be guided, it will be short, and it'll be focused on our breathing. And how we can do that is work with a breath that is all around focus. It's a counted breath. When we're counting, it really leaves little room for our minds to wander and start to go off into other areas. So our counted breath will be our own personal count. I've suggested a count of 5 in and 5 out, but if you need less or longer, you can do that. So we would take a breath in together and exhale. And I'd begin my inhale to a count of 5. And exhale to a count of 5. Just watching that rise and the fall. So wherever you are, taking that breath, counting in, and going right into your exhale, soft and slow through the nose. And inhale through the nose. And an exhale through the nose. Counting up. And following your countdown. And continuing with several more cycles of counting your breath in and watching it flow out. And your last round of counting. And just begin to settle into your seat, your chair, if you're laying down, just beginning to feel your body. Maybe offering up a sense of it's our time to recharge and to relax. Gently closing your eyes if you have not, or softening the gaze and lowering it. But imagine you are plugging yourself into that charger to fill up your energy. Imagine you're drawing that energy up into the body with each breath. Taking all the energy from around you, refueling, recharging your cells. Imagine all that oxygen coming in and just fueling and feeding, the heart pumping and the cells firing. The more oxygen we take in, our body begins to calm and to settle. And relaxation can bring us more energy. You may have heard others in the past say that meditation can actually give you that energy, that sitting in stillness and calm can make you feel rested, because it can. So begin to just watch the breath physically move the body. As you breathe in, the expansion in the abdomen. As you exhale, the softening and the settling of the body. And maybe pick a place in the body where you feel the breath the most. If you'd like to place a hand on the chest or the abdomen, or just simply watch the breath come in through the nostrils. But stick with this point and just be there watching each breath. The mind will wander, that's very natural. As soon as you notice that it does, just come back to watching breath in that space. And you do that over and over, becoming aware of the breath. As thoughts come across like a notification on our phone screen, we just swipe them away and we come back to the recharging breath, gently placing awareness, watching each inhale and exhale. Begin to imagine the body just fully recharged. You're getting very close to that 100% bar. You're feeling that breath. Begin to notice if anything has changed within the body. From when you first sat down today, how has the breath maybe shifted? The amount of thoughts seem to slow down at all. And if they haven't, there's nothing wrong with that either. And just begin to notice what might have shifted within the body. And expanding your awareness from just that one space of the breath and just feeling the entire sense of yourself in the room that you're in. Feeling your connection to the chair or couch or bed, or feeling your feet on the floor. Beginning to just connect with what is outside of yourself. Taking a deep breath in through the nose and a deep breath out through the mouth, letting everything go. 2 more through the nose and out through the mouth. Last one. Begin to bring movement back to the body. Maybe it's stretching and feeling the stretch, feeling everything with it. And if you haven't opened your eyes, or if maybe you never closed them, begin to prepare for your transition from moving from our time together to the next thing that you prepare to do. And since we're so close to kind of a calmer state, really settled nerves, hopefully, see if you can try to be a bit more connected to whatever you go to do next. So if you're walking to another room, is there something you can sense or feel or notice, and just be there with it? If you're going to have a conversation with someone, can you just try to show up and be a little bit more mindful in that moment with them? And as you go to sleep tonight, if you're ever having challenges with sleeping, I encourage you to follow the breath, the 5 in, the 5 out breath. And imagine a wave comes up in the 5, and then as you exhale, washes everything away. And use your breath throughout your day to be your anchor, to remind you that you can collect, you can take a little bit of control back from other things that are happening outside of us. So I wish you all the best in your evening, and I hope you can practice a bit in the coming days. And if not, no judgment to yourself. And I hope you can join next week for our last session that will be focused on kindness and compassion and how that can impact us throughout our lives, and just some ways to use that in our day-to-day experiences. So have a wonderful evening, and I wish you all the best. And yes, you will find all the recordings online. Thank you all so much. Bye, Bridget. Thank you for your time.